Desire without movement is just noise in your mind. You can want something with your whole heart, but if your hands aren't doing the work and your thought action aren't stepping forward, you are going nowhere. There are millions of people out there who want more out of life, but only a twig handful ever rise because they combine desire with decisive action. It's easy to talk about what you want. It's easy to write it down, visualize it, and make a vision board. But none of that matters if you aren't backing it up with actual steps. You don't get to skip the grind. You can't leap from desire to achievement without crossing the brutal, inconvenient, messy path of work. Movement forces the world to respond to you. When you act, you create energy. People start paying attention. Opportunities begin to shift in your direction. But they never come to the man or woman who's just sitting and waiting for things to change on their own. That's not how life works. You can't negotiate with destiny from the couch. You have to rise and meet it head on. You have to look at your desire and decide that no excuse, no fear, no failure will stop you from moving. You don't need to know everything, just enough to take the first step. Start moving before you think you are ready. Desire doesn't guarantee results. Effort does, and effort is only born when you force yourself to get uncomfortable and take action when it's inconvenient. That's when transformation begins. That's when something starts to change in your life. Not when you feel ready, but when you move despite not being ready. Every success story you admire began with movement. Not just planning, not just dreaming, not waiting for permission or validation. They moved with urgency. They moved with focus. They moved even when they had no clue what the outcome would be. That's what separates those who live the life they want from those who stay stuck in the one they tolerate. The gap between wishing and winning is filled with action. You either close the gap by moving or widen it by staying still. There is no in-between. Wanting something is a start, but it is not the finish. The finish line belongs to those who run toward it, not those who sit and stare at it, hoping it comes to them. Fear doesn't vanish because you think positive thoughts. It doesn't leave just because you pray or journal or wait. Fear gets crushed the moment you start moving toward it. You don't eliminate fear by avoiding it. You eliminate it by doing the thing that's in you. The problem is that we think we have to feel brave before we act. But courage doesn't show up until after you take the step. You act first, then courage enters the picture. You take the step, and suddenly your brain realizes it didn't kill you. You survived. You are still standing. And that truth rewires your confidence. Fear grows in silence. The more you avoid the thing, the more terrifying it becomes. But when you face it, the illusion shatters. That conversation, that risk, that leap, it's never as bad as the version your mind plays on repeat. You've got to expose fear for what it is, a weak shadow that gets bigger the longer you stare at it. You will never be fearless, and that's okay. The goal is not to destroy fear, it's to move with it. To stop waiting for it to go away and instead say, I'm doing this anyway. Every time you act despite fear, you weaken its grip. You take back control. You reclaim your power. Fear will never fully disappear because it's part of your survival system. But it's not a reason to stop. It's just a signal. You don't need to obey it. You need to override it. Train your mind to respond to fear with movement. Use it as fuel instead of a roadblock. You will find out quickly that fear is loud, but it's not strong. You are stronger than it when you move. You are smarter than it when you act. The more you confront it, the quieter it gets. It's the hiding that gives fear strength. It's the delay that makes it grow. Every powerful transformation in your life will require you to walk through fear. The only question is whether you will do it now or waste more time hoping for a fearless version of yourself to appear. That version doesn't exist. You act your way into bravery. You force yourself into it one decision at a time. You can sit in a room full of brilliant thoughts and still end up broke, stuck, or bitter. Ideas are not currency, execution is. You are not rewarded for what you think. You are rewarded for what you do with those thoughts. That's the difference between potential and power. People confuse thinking with progress. Just because you are brainstorming or planning doesn't mean you are moving forward. Some people spend years thinking about their next step and still haven't taken it. Meanwhile, someone else with half the talent just ran with it, and now they are thriving. The marketplace doesn't care about your vision board. It doesn't care about your intentions. It only responds to action. People want to see proof. They want to see results. And you can only produce results when you put your thoughts into motion, not when you are just imagining what could be. That book idea in your head, it means nothing until you write the first page. That business plan, useless until you launch. That fitness goal, it's just noise until you show up at the gym. Thoughts become powerful when you pull them out of your mind and into the real world through consistent, focused effort. Your brain will trick you into thinking you are working just because you are thinking. It will make you feel productive when you are paralyzed. You have to break that cycle. Start turning every powerful thought into a to-do. Don't let great ideas collect dust in your mind. Execute fast. Adjust as you go. Nothing you think matters until it's built, tested, and proven in reality. And yes, you will mess up along the way. That's part of the process. But action gives you feedback. Thinking keeps you in a loop. Only action sharpens your thinking and makes you more effective. You will never think your way into success. You will only get there by doing, failing, learning, and doing again. Turn your thoughts into steps. Turn your vision into a schedule. Turn your idea into a deadline. You can be the smartest person in the room, but if you don't act, you are no different than someone with no idea at all. You are not going to feel ready, and that's the truth no one tells you. The first step never looks clean. It's uncomfortable, it's awkward, and it's full of uncertainty. But you take it anyway because the only thing worse than failing is sitting still. You don't get momentum from waiting, you get momentum from doing. So you step forward even if it's shaky, even if it's slow, because that first step is the one that breaks the chains. You might look foolish, you might feel exposed, people might talk. They might laugh. Let them. Your future doesn't need to be approved by the opinions of people who aren't even moving. You don't owe them polish or perfection. You owe yourself progress. That first step is going to be messy, and that's exactly how you know it's real. It means you are not just dreaming anymore, you are daring. Everybody who ever achieved something worth talking about started unsure. No one starts with confidence. Confidence is earned after you act, not before. So when you stand at the edge of the unknown, you don't wait for certainty. You jump, and you figure it out in the air. Your wings are built mid-flight. The people waiting for perfect timing are still waiting. You can't afford to be one of them. The first time you speak, your voice might shake. The first time you try, your hands might tremble. You might stumble out of the gate, miss your mark, or even embarrass yourself. Good, that means you started. That means you are learning. Nobody skips this part. Everyone who looks polished now was once rough and uncertain. They just had the guts to keep going when it didn't look pretty. You will be tempted to prepare forever, to tweak, revise, study, and plan until it feels safe. But safety is an illusion. There is no version of the first step that's risk-free. There's no version where you won't feel vulnerable. That tension in your gut, that's not a stop sign. That's the sign that you are alive, that you are stretching, that you are growing into something bigger than your fear. You are not trying to win the whole game on the first play. You are trying to enter the field. That first step isn't supposed to be masterful, it's supposed to be movement. Don't confuse excellence with timing. Excellence is built in the process, not before it. You earn greatness through repetition, not hesitation. The first rep is never the strongest, but it's the most important because it starts the rhythm. No one remembers how you started, they remember that you did. The world doesn't reward the perfect, it rewards the persistent. Take that step. Trip if you must. Fall if you must. But fall forward. Crawl if you have to. Just don't stay still. There's no clean way to begin. There's only boldness. And the people who win are the ones who took the first ugly, uncertain, imperfect step while others were still waiting for the stars to align. Nobody's coming to hand you a breakthrough. The world doesn't respond to your pain, your potential, or your wishes. It responds to value. It responds to what you bring to the table, what you build, what you give, and what you solve. If you are not producing value, you are not positioning yourself to rise. The truth is cold, but freeing. You don't get what you deserve, you get what you earn. You can complain, you can protest, you can blame the system, the past, or your circumstances, but none of that builds anything. You move forward when you create something useful. You rise when your actions make a difference, when you are solving problems, not just pointing them out. If you are not producing, you are waiting. And every day you wait, someone else is taking action and getting ahead. Your ideas don't pay the bills. Your effort, when directed toward real output, does. If you want people to notice you, invest in you, or pay you, you must give them something they can't ignore. That means getting off the sidelines and into the game. That means improving your skills, sharpening your craft, and showing up with something up, exchanging. The world responds to producers, not spectators. It doesn't matter if you came from nothing. So did millions of others. The difference is that some of them decided they were done being overlooked. They didn't ask for favors, they built something people couldn't deny. That's what you have to do. You have to build with urgency, with discipline, with so much fire in your gut that it makes excuses irrelevant. You don't get paid for trying. You don't get respect just for existing. Respect and reward follow results. And results only come from work that matters. You must become someone who adds, not someone who waits. Someone who builds, not someone who hopes. Someone who solves, not someone who complains. That's when the doors open. That's when opportunities multiply. That's when the right people start paying attention. Stop looking for shortcuts and start looking for ways to serve. Find out what people need and become the one who delivers it better than anyone else. That's how you grow. That's how you win. Success isn't based on what you want, it's based on what others are willing to trade for the value you bring. The more you give, the more you grow. The more you build, the more you earn. Every time you feel like you are being overlooked, ask yourself what value you are creating. Every time you feel stuck, ask yourself what problem you are solving for someone else. Stop waiting for the world to see you and start showing the world why it can't afford to miss you. That's not arrogance, that's responsibility. You want more. Then give more. Become undeniable through what you produce. Procrastination doesn't scream at you. It whispers. It shows up in small delays, little distractions, and subtle excuses that feel justifiable. I'll do it tomorrow. I'm not in the right headspace. Let me just check one more thing. These aren't harmless delays. They are the slow drip of ambition dying. Procrastination doesn't ruin your life in one day. It chips away at your future one wasted shower at a quarter of an hour time. It's dangerous because it disguises itself as self-care, strategy, or preparation. But all it's doing is robbing you of momentum. It doesn't feel like a threat until weeks pass. Then months, then years, you look up and realize the opportunity is gone, the moment passed, and you are left wondering what could have happened if you had just started when it mattered. The longer you delay, the heavier the task becomes in your mind. What was once a simple step now feels like a mountain. Procrastination breeds anxiety. It magnifies fear. The more you think about the task, the more you build walls around it. And before long, you are paralyzed. You have made something small into something monstrous, all because you didn't act when you had the chance. People don't lose because they are not capable. They lose because they keep waiting for perfect timing. They think clarity comes before movement, when in reality, movement creates clarity. You don't know how things are going to play out until you start. You don't need more time, you need more urgency. You need to stop analyzing your way into apathy. The difference between high achievers and those who stay stuck is never just talent or intelligence, it's how fast they act. Winners move. They start. They figure things out along the way. They understand that waiting is a trap and that speed matters more than perfection. Procrastination is what average people do with great ideas. It's how dreams rot in silence. You have to build a habit of immediate execution. As soon as the idea hits, write it down. As soon as the task pops up, tackle it. Don't let it sit. Don't give it time to grow teeth. Kill it before it becomes an excuse. The more you do this, the more you train your brain to associate action with relief and hesitation with pain. That shift in identity is everything. You don't beat procrastination with motivation, you beat it with structure, discipline, and movement. Start before you are ready. Act while it's fresh. Push yourself even when it feels uncomfortable. Because every moment you delay is a moment you surrender power. And power isn't something you talk about, it's something you claim with your behavior. Motivation is emotional. It comes and goes with your mood, your energy, and your circumstances. One day you are fired up. The next day you can barely roll out of bed. That's the trap. If your progress depends on how you feel, you will never get consistent results. You can't trust a feeling that changes with the weather. You need something stronger. That's where discipline comes in. Discipline doesn't ask how you feel, it demands action. It doesn't need inspiration music or a motivational quote. It shows up because it's the standard. It's not about excitement, it's about execution. Motivation may start the engine, but only this heart bump keeps the wheels turning. If you rely on motivation, you will be good for a day. If you build discipline, you will be great for a lifetime. Discipline says you do the work when it's boring, when it's hard, when no one else is watching. It says you keep your word to yourself even when there's no applause, no spotlight, and no reward. That's how real transformation happens in the quiet, unglamorous moments that stack up into results. You want power? Master consistency. You want growth? Master repetition. Discipline is the system that makes success predictable. People chase motivation because it feels good. Discipline doesn't always feel good, but it always delivers. You don't rise by doing what's convenient, you rise by doing what's necessary. You don't become elite by doing it when you feel like it, you become elite by doing it whether you feel like it or not. That mindset is the difference between people who dabble and people who dominate. The world is filled with people who had a great start but no follow-through. They got excited, posted about it, maybe even bought the gear. But when motivation faded, so did their effort. Discipline is what separates the starter from the finisher. It's the voice that says, I don't care if you are tired, get it done. It's the backbone that carries you when your feelings try to quit. You have to train your mind to work on schedule, not on mood. That means showing up when it's raining, when you are sore, when you are discouraged. That means sticking to your plan even when distractions pull at you. Because every time you choose discipline, you build a foundation for long-term strength. Every time you choose discipline, it becomes harder to stop. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is a fire. Motivation can fade in a day. Discipline is built over time through pressure, through resistance, through hard choices. And the more you lean on it, the more powerful it becomes. You don't need to be motivated, you need to be relentless. You need to be steady. You need to do it even when nobody claps, even when no one sees, because you decided that greatness is non-negotiable. You can talk all day about changing your life, setting goals, and chasing success, but if your routine stays the same, so will your results. Your routine is your reality. It's not the dreams you post about or the quotes you share. It's the decisions you make daily when no one's watching. If you wake up the same, move the same, think the same, and act the same, don't expect your life to look any different. People don't fail because they are incapable. They fail because they keep waiting for external change while clinging to internal habits that hold them back. If you want something new, you have to do something new. There's no breakthrough without behavior change. You don't drift into success. You build it brick by brick, hour by hour in the details of your daily structure. Most people don't realize their routine is a cage. It's filled with small choices that feel harmless: sleeping in an extra hour, checking your phone first thing, skipping the workout, pushing the goal to tomorrow. These choices compound. Over time, they become an identity. You are not stuck because of one big mistake. You are stuck because of 1,000 little ones you repeat daily under the disguise of comfort. Change feels hard because it disrupts your autopilot. Your brain wants to conserve energy, to default to the familiar. That's why the moment you try to shift your routine, resistance shows up. You feel tired, distracted, and anxious. That's not a sign to stop. It's proof you are breaking the mold. That's the threshold most people back away from. But it's where transformation begins. You don't need a complete life overhaul. Start with your mornings. Start with your habits between 5 a.m. and 9 a.m. How you begin your day sets the tone for everything that follows. Fill that time with intention, clarity, and discipline. Kill distractions. Establish rituals that move you toward your goals. The person who owns their morning eventually owns their results. Excellence isn't something you squeeze into your schedule. It is schedule. If your routine is reactive, your life will feel chaotic. If your routine is designed, your life will feel filched. You have to engineer your day to support your ambition. That means saying no to things that don't serve your purpose. That means mastering time instead of letting time master you. Your future is hidden inside what you do repeatedly. If nothing changes, nothing changes. You can journal about it, pray about it, talk about it, but until your routine reflects your goals, it's all noise. Real growth starts the moment your habits align with your vision. You can't stay the same and expect different. Change your pattern. Change your structure. Change your standard. Because a new routine doesn't just lead to a new result, it leads to a new you. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. Growth happens in tension, in pressure, in resistance. When everything feels easy, you are not developing, you are coasting. And while coasting might feel good for a while, it eventually leads to decline. Comfort is a trap. It convinces you that you are safe when really you are stagnant. It whispers lies like you have earned the rest or you have done enough when deep down you know there's more in you. Most people are addicted to comfort and don't even know it. They wake up, do the same things, avoid the safe over the sensation, stay where it's familiar, and wonder why nothing in their life evolves. They avoid challenges because challenges hurt. But that hurt is the gym for your potential. That pressure is where your next level is hiding. If you are not uncomfortable, you are not stretching, and if you are not stretching, you are not growing. The people who level up in life are the ones who deliberately chase discomfort. They train in the cold while others sleep. They speak up when their voice shakes. They take the risk when the outcome isn't guaranteed. They know that comfort is more dangerous than effort, because effort might exhaust you, but comfort will erase you slowly, quietly, without warning, until one day you wake up and don't recognize the person in the mirror. Comfort makes you soft. It dulls your edge. It weakens your hunger. It turns ambition into routine, into riot, into daydreams. When you get too comfortable, you stop pushing limits. You stop raising standards. You start telling yourself that what you have is enough, not because it is, but because chasing more feels inconvenient. And that's when potential dies, not with a bang, but with a shrug. Every meaningful achievement in life was born out of discomfort. Whether it's building a business, transforming your body, repairing a relationship, or deepening your faith, it all requires you to go where it hurts. It required you to show up when it wasn't easy, to stay committed when it wasn't fun, to keep moving when you felt exposed. That pain, that friction, that uncertainty, that's the soil where greatness grows. You need to build a new relationship with discomfort. Stop treating it like the enemy and start treating it like the signal. If you feel uncomfortable, it's because you are entering territory you have never conquered. That's where you belong. That's where the growth is. Make it a rule in your life. When it feels hard, go harder. When it feels scary, lean in. When it feels like a stretch, reach further. That's how you rewire yourself for expansion. Comfort never challenges your character. It never builds discipline. It never tests your faith. It never forces you to adapt, evolve, or sharpen. You grow through resistance. You rise under pressure. You transform through pain. So if everything feels comfortable right now, don't celebrate, get suspicious. Because true growth is always inconvenient, always demanding, always uncomfortable, and always worth it. Most people wait for the perfect moment to start, believing that clarity will show up before they take action. But that's a lie. Clarity is the result of movement, not the precursor. It's not something you receive in a moment of stillness. It's something you earn through doing. The moment you step forward, the fog starts to lift. The path begins to reveal itself, but only when you are moving down it. You will never have all the answers before you begin. The fear of uncertainty holds so many people back from ever taking that first step. But understand this, the first step is always messy. It's imperfect. You will stumble, you will question, and you will face roadblocks. But none of that matters. What matters is that you start. Because with each action, with each step, clarity gets clearer. The way forward becomes easier to see. Think of it this way. You can sit on the sidelines waiting for your vision to appear, or you can jump into the game and let your actions reveal your... Every time you act, you gather data, whether it's a win or a lesson. The more you do, the more you learn. The more you learn, the more refined your approach becomes. And with that, your vision sharpens. Clarity follows action, not the other way around. People who wait for clarity to come first are the same people who are still stuck years later, waiting for the right time. But the right time doesn't exist. There's no perfect set of conditions. The perfect moment will never arrive until you decide to create it with action. And even then, that moment may feel uncomfortable and imperfect, but it will be far more valuable than the comfort of staying still. When you take action, you also begin to trust yourself. You stop questioning your ability and start realizing that you have the resilience to figure things out as you go. The more you act, the more you build confidence in your decisions. And confidence breeds clarity. You stop second-guessing and start trusting the process. You begin to understand that you don't need all the pieces to the puzzle before you start putting it together. You only need a few pieces to begin the picture. The key is to break the cycle of overthinking. Stop waiting for perfection. Stop waiting for every little detail to fall into place before you make a move. Just do something, do anything, as long as it's in the direction of your goal. Once you move, the details will fill in. The roadblocks will get smaller. And with each step, clarity will reveal itself to you piece by piece. Action always comes before clarity because action is the test. It's the trial that helps you figure out what works and what doesn't. Without it, you remain in the dark, waiting for something that will never come. But once you commit to moving, the fog starts to clear and the direction you need to go becomes apparent. Clarity is earned through doing, not through waiting. So stop waiting and start acting. The rest will follow. Your mind is not your master. It's your tool. But just like any tool, it needs to be trained. If you don't train it, it will run wild, sabotaging your dreams, feeding you doubts, and holding you back. Most people are at the mercy of their thoughts, letting their minds control them instead of controlling their minds. But here's the truth, your mind will obey you once you learn how to command it. It's all about discipline, focus, and repetition. Just like a muscle, your mind gets stronger when you exercise it. The mind is like a wild horse. If you don't tame it, it'll take you on an unpredictable ride, pulling you in every direction. But when you train it, it becomes a reliable steed, guiding you exactly where you want to go. The problem is that too many people let their thoughts run free without any direction, letting anxiety, fear, and negativity take the reins. If you don't take control, your mind will pull you off course every single time. Training your mind means taking responsibility for your thoughts. It means catching the negative ones before they snowball. It's about replacing doubt with confidence, fear with faith, and laziness with action. Your mind will follow whatever you tell it. If you tell it you can't, you won't. If you tell it you can, you will. But you have to consistently remind yourself who's in charge. You have to demand discipline, focus, and persistence, especially when your mind tries to tell you to give up or take the easy route. Your mind doesn't distinguish between good and bad instructions, it just follows orders. If you allow negative, self-defeating thoughts to dominate, your mind will serve them up on a platter. If you feed your mind thoughts of success, strength, and resilience, it will serve you those results. This is the power of repetition. The more you train your mind to think positively and act with purpose, the easier it becomes to stay focused on your goals, regardless of the challenges that arise. The key to mastering your mind is consistency. It's not enough to train it once or twice and expect results. You must train it every single day. You must build routines that reinforce your goals and align your thoughts with your actions. When you wake up, your mind should already be programmed for success. When challenges come, your mind should automatically start looking for solutions instead of problems. You must train your mind to respond to adversity with resilience, not with retreat. Most people want to believe that success is a matter of luck, circumstance, or timing. Or time reality is that success is mostly mental. It's the result of a trained mind that refuses to quit, refuses to accept failure as an option, and relentlessly pushes forward no matter how tough the way gets. You have the power to train your mind to think, act, and respond in a way that serves your purpose, but it requires daily practice, consistency, and practice. Your mind will obey you, but only if you are willing to take charge and give it direction. The mind is powerful, but it's also malleable. It's a tool that can either work for you or against you. If you allow it to go unchecked, it will create chaos. If you train it to serve you, it will become the greatest asset you have in achieving your goals. So take control of your thoughts, discipline your mind, train it to be your ally, and watch as it transforms your life. The choice is yours. Will your mind control you, or will you control it? Excuses are easy. They are comfortable, convenient, and justify action. The problem is they don't solve anything. They don't move you forward. They keep you exactly where you are, but to the person making the excuses, they sound so convincing. In the moment, an excuse feels like a valid reason, a legitimate explanation for why things aren't happening. The problem is the only person you are fooling is yourself. Others can see through excuses, but it's you who's trapped by them. We have all been there, telling ourselves why we can't start, why we can't push through, why we're not ready. And when we speak those excuses aloud, they seem to make sense. They feel like a protective shield, a way to avoid failure, judgment, or discomfort. But they are, in reality, a cage we build around ourselves. Every excuse is a chain that locks us into a cycle of mediocrity. The more we use them, the more we reinforce the belief that we're not capable of doing the work. We have convinced ourselves that we're not ready, that we don't have enough, that it's just too hard. The truth is, excuses sound best to the person who says them because they offer immediate relief from responsibility. They soothe the discomfort of taking action. They allow us to stay in our comfort zone where it's easy and familiar. But if you are going to grow, if you are going to elevate your life, then you must face this hard truth. Excuses get you nowhere. They are not your friend, no matter how good they sound. They only keep you stuck. Excuses are the language of fear, doubt, and insecurity. When you hear yourself making excuses, it's a sign that you are avoiding something that would require effort, growth, or change. You are protecting yourself from a challenge, from discomfort, from the potential of failure. But that's the exact thing that you need to get better at. If you want to grow, you have to stop speaking the language of excuses and start speaking the language of action, of commitment, of resilience. Every time you make an excuse, you delay your success. People who achieve greatness don't make excuses. They face the discomfort head on and do what needs to be done anyway. They don't let their fears dictate their actions. They don't make justifications for why they can't. Instead, they find a way to make it happen. It's not that they don't face obstacles or have bad days, it's that they choose to push through. They decide that no excuse will stand in the way of their goals. They take full responsibility for their actions and outcomes. They don't let themselves off the hook. Excuses feel good in the moment, but they create long-term consequences. They are the silent killers of potential. Every time you let an excuse slide, you shrink your capacity to succeed. You chip away at your confidence. And you make it harder to take the next step because your brain starts to believe the story that you can't handle it. But if you refuse to make excuses, if you call yourself out every time you want to justify inaction, you will start to develop the muscle of accountability. You will start to see results that you never thought possible. The real challenge is not the external world, it's the battle you face with your mind. Your excuses are your self-imposed limitations. They are the lies you tell yourself to avoid doing the work. But once you recognize that they only sound convincing to you, once you realize that they hold no real power, you will break free from them. The next time you hear yourself making an excuse, stop and ask, is this true? Or is this just my mind trying to protect me from the discomfort of growth? You will find that most of your excuses are just noise that you no longer have to listen to. The truth is simple. There's no such thing as an overnight success. The things you want, the goals, the dreams, the lifestyle require work, consistency, and commitment. But here's the catch. The work doesn't need to be grand or monumental. One small step today is worth more than 10 giant leaps tomorrow. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that we need to take huge actions, make big moves, to do everything all at once. But that kind of thinking paralyzes you. You end up waiting for the perfect time, which never comes. Instead, it's the tiny steps taken every single day that lead to massive progress. Too often, people put things off, thinking that they'll catch up later. They believe that they can do it all tomorrow. But what they don't realize is that the tomorrow they envision is built on today's actions. Every small task you complete today is a brick in the foundation of your future. The key to success is not in waiting for the perfect moment, but in committing to do what you can today, no matter how small. If you wait, you will be right where you started, and you will have 10 more steps to take tomorrow instead of just one. Every day you delay, you add more pressure to the future. If you choose to put it off, the burden grows heavier and heavier. The reason one step today is worth 10 tomorrows is that you are breaking the chain of procrastination. By taking action now, you eliminate the need for desperation later. When you act today, you create momentum. Momentum is the force that drives you forward, so even when tomorrow brings more challenges, you are already moving in the right direction. One action today makes it easier to take the next one tomorrow. Successful people don't wait for ideal conditions. They make progress every single day, no matter how small. Each action, no matter how insignificant it seems, moves them closer to their goals. The beauty is in the consistency of those small actions. It's easy to get overwhelmed by the result, by the big dream. But the only way to get there is by breaking it down into manageable daily steps. Each step you take today compounds and multiplies. It creates a snowball effect that propels you forward, making the future look less daunting and much more achievable. When you take action today, you are not just checking off a task. You are developing a habit, a routine, and a mindset of growth. You are training your brain to focus on progress rather than perfection. This shift is everything. By doing something today, no matter how small, you are programming your mind to be consistent. The more you focus on what you can do today, the less anxiety you will have about the future. The future doesn't exist yet, but today is a reality you can control. And the more you take charge of today, the more prepared you will be for tomorrow. It's all about momentum. One small step today builds the confidence you need to take larger steps tomorrow. Each small win becomes a building block, reinforcing your belief in yourself and your ability to succeed. The more you take those steps, the easier it becomes to keep going. You will look back and realize that those small steps, those seemingly insignificant tasks, added up to something massive. That's why one step today is worth 10 tomorrow. It's not just about moving forward, it's about building the momentum, so the mindset that will carry you through. So stop waiting for some perfect moment to start. Stop thinking that everything has to be big and dramatic. Start today, no matter how small the step, because one step today is worth 10 tomorrow. It's those small, consistent actions that will get you where you want to go. If you focus on today, you will make tomorrow so much easier. So, what's one thing you can do today that will move you forward? Take that step and the rest will follow. We often imagine our breakthrough as this distant event, something that will magically happen once the stars align or once we reach a certain milestone. We think that success or transformation will come to us, and all we need to do is wait for the bells, or the right moment, or the right opportunity. But that's a lie. Your breakthrough is not going to fall into your lap. It's not going to magically appear when you feel ready. It is waiting for you on the other side of action. And until you take that first step, you are going to stay stuck right where you are. Action is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Too many people are stuck in the thinking phase, endlessly planning, analyzing, and waiting for the perfect time to act. But let me tell you, the perfect time doesn't exist. Your breakthrough lies in doing anything. Even if it's messy, even if it's not perfect, even if you are not entirely sure how it will turn out. The key is to start. When you take that first step, you set in motion everything that you need for growth and change. Until you act, everything stays stagnant. Your mind is a powerful tool, but it can also be your biggest enemy when it comes to progress. It will convince you that you are not ready, that you need more knowledge, that you need more resources, that you need more time. And it's all a distraction. The truth is, you will never feel ready until you let it push yourself to take action. That's the magic of it. It's in the doing, not the thinking. The action you take today creates the momentum that will lead to clarity, solutions, and results. Without action, you are just spinning your wheels, staying stuck in analysis and fear. Every breakthrough story, every success you admire was not achieved through waiting for the perfect moment. It was achieved through relentless action, even when the path wasn't clear, even when they didn't have all the answers, even when they felt uncertain. The breakthrough happens after the action is taken. It's after you have made that first step, after you have faced your fear, after you have jumped into the unknown, that the doors open and the path becomes clearer. But you have to act first. The breakthrough comes later, not before. The longer you wait to act, the further your breakthrough moves from you. Action forces you to confront your doubts, your fears, your insecurities, and your lack of experience. But that's the only way you grow. You can't learn by sitting back and thinking about what you might do. You learn through doing. It's when you make that first move, when you stop hesitating, that you begin to understand what works and what doesn't. The world responds to action, and so does your mind. It adapts, it grows, and it becomes more powerful. But it all starts with taking that first step. Action is the catalyst for transformation. The longer you sit and wait for the breakthrough to come to you, the longer it will take to reach it. The moment you decide to take action, you break free from the cycle of hesitation and doubt. You show the world that you are serious about making things happen. You show yourself that you are capable of doing what you have always dreamed of. And each action you take, no matter how small, moves you closer to that breakthrough. You don't get there by waiting. You get there by moving, by acting, by refusing to let fear hold you back. So don't wait for the perfect time, the perfect plan, or the perfect conditions. They will never come. Your breakthrough lies on the other side of action, and it's waiting for you to step into it. Every time you act, you close the gap between where you are now and where you want to be. It's not the thought of the breakthrough that will bring it to you. It's the consistent actions you take. Take that step today. Your breakthrough is on the other side, and the only way to get there is through action. You know why winners stand out? It's because they do what others refuse to do. They don't wait for motivation to strike, and they don't shy away from discomfort. While everyone else is making excuses, looking for shortcuts, or hoping for a break, winners are getting their hands dirty, getting up when others are still asleep, and tackling the hardest tasks head on. They don't wait for the easy path to show up. They carve their own. And it's never the easy route. It's a hard, relentless grind, and that's exactly why they succeed. They understand that success requires doing what others won't, even when it feels tough or inconvenient. The majority of people are looking for comfort, convenience, and the least amount of effort. They want results, but they don't want to do the work. They avoid the difficult tasks. They procrastinate, hoping things will get easier. But guess what? They never do. And while they are avoiding the hard stuff, someone else is out there pushing through it. They are putting in the effort. They are working when it's uncomfortable. They are learning when everyone else is watching TV or scrolling through their phones. Winners aren't afraid to get uncomfortable. They embrace discomfort because they know it's the gateway to growth. The tasks that most people avoid are the very ones that lead to the breakthroughs. The uncomfortable conversations, the difficult decisions, the times when you have to push past the fatigue, the moments when you feel like giving up, all of these are the stepping stone in success. It's easy to want to stay in your comfort zone, but growth never happens there. It happens when you take on what others are too scared to face. The hard things, that's where the magic happens. The fear and resistance you feel in those moments are signs that you are on the right track. If you want to achieve something extraordinary, you have to be willing to do the things that others won't. And this isn't about doing it once in a while. This is about making it a habit. The winner's mindset isn't about being exceptional on the good days. It's about being relentless on the tough days. The days when you don't feel like it. The days when others are making excuses. Winners force themselves to take action when they'd rather not. They push forward when everyone else is waiting for the perfect moment, because they know the perfect moment never comes. The moment is now, and winners take advantage of that. Look at any successful person, and you will find a common theme. They weren't afraid to take the path less traveled. They were willing to face the challenges that others avoided. The successful ones are often the ones who kept going ones. They stayed focused when distractions hit. They didn't let their emotions or comfort zones dictate their actions. They were disciplined enough to do the things that other people were too scared to try, even when it felt hard. That's the difference between success and failure. Winners make the tough choices and stay the course. Discomfort doesn't kill you. It makes you stronger. But most people avoid it because they think it's something to fear. Winners know that fear is a signal to move forward, not retreat. When you feel afraid or uncomfortable, you are on the verge of a breakthrough. You are pushing past limitations, and that's where growth occurs. So when others are choosing to stay in their safe little bubble, you are breaking out of yours. The pain of discomfort today is nothing compared to the rewards of success tomorrow. And that's why winners do what others avoid. They understand that real growth happens when you push through the barriers. The next time you are faced with something difficult, don't back down. Don't shy away from the hard work. Embrace it. Understand that every time you push through the difficult task, you are one step closer to your goals. Winners don't wait for the right circumstances. They create them. They take charge of their destiny by doing the work that others won't. So if you want to stand out, if you want to be a winner, you need to force yourself to do what others avoid. There is no shortcut to success, no easy path to greatness. The key is in doing what others are afraid to do time and time again.